let's start this. Okay, here is it. Perfect. Okay, I start to record also here. Okay, welcome to everybody. Can you see myself? Thank you. I need to ping video. Okay. Welcome to everybody. This is the third, we are re-recording the third online meeting of Perl project, training course, and about the inclusion of disability, disabled children, it's better to say. And Perl project, it has arisen, it is an Erasmus Plus 201 project approved to Italian National Agency, and where we are promoting and experimenting and piloting a new pedagogical strategy, determinated mainly by education and emotion. Here today, as a keynote speaker, we have Aysel from Gazi University in Ankara, and the second part will be held by us, Polo Europeo della Conoscenza. Aysel, it's your turn, and you can start and you can share. I give you co-host.
Okay.
So you can share, and you can play. You can also share the audio, so you can play anything inside of it.
All right. Thank you. Let me open the presentation. Can we see it now?
Yeah, perfect.
Here. Hello, everyone. I'll be presenting a topic of children's learning from their mistakes and error and teachers' role in this process. So let's start first by talking a little about what's the role of mistakes in children's learning. As mentioned in the first training session, the Pearl model is based on constructivist theories of education, and these theories emphasize children's constructing their knowledge instead of memorizing information provided by others. And children construct their knowledge if they are actively participated, if they get concrete experiences through the learning process. And active participation in an environment that is well equipped with well-designed materials is possible through direct experience, which also leads to permanent knowledge. Okay, I couldn't move on the slides. So learning through direct experience through which children construct their knowledge leads naturally, consequently, to children's making mistakes in the process, which is called trial and error. And trial and error method is a learning method that children actually use naturally when they're born, when they are infant. They start by first imitating others' behaviors, and then they continue learning through trial and error method. Donaldson, who works on preschool children's learning processes, Donaldson identifies three types of mistakes that take place in preschool settings: content-specific mistakes, process mistakes, and behavioral and/or social interaction-related mistakes. She indicates that content-specific mistakes are related to specific subject matters or concepts. An example for this would be, for example, a child misspelling a word, or a child missing out a number when counting from 1 to 10. Process mistakes usually result from child's not paying attention to teachers' directions, which also leads children to failing in following the direction or failing completing a task. Behavioral and or social interaction related mistakes occur when children are interacting with others or with adults. And examples for this could be, for example, a child's speaking out without taking a turn, waiting his turn, or a child grabbing a toy from a friend before asking for permission, or a child pushing a friend, types of mistakes. So Donaldson argues that children learn from their mistakes, and not only that they learn, but this type of learning has long-lasting effect on children's learning, because children respond to mistakes as a whole. She states, as is true for all learners, children respond to mistakes with their brains, bodies, and emotions. These early experiences could have a lasting effect on a child's perception of mistakes for years to come. So this is really actually important, especially because we are dealing with children in early childhood education. The type of responses that they will display to their mistakes become a prototype through their lives, and it determines whether they are open to learn from their mistakes, or they try to stay away, taking risks because they are afraid of mistakes, which inhibits their learning. So what do children think of learning from mistakes? I have a very short video clip that I would love to show it. Okay, that's good.
Sometimes it's very hard to say this.
We'll try.
Once I stole a magnet.
No way you stole a magnet?
Yes.
Is it okay to make a mistake like that?
Yes.
I agree.
Because then you think like, what did I do wrong? Maybe I shouldn't do that the next time.
Is it okay to make mistakes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, it's fine. Yes. 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 Yes.
Why?
Everyone does. No.
Why not?
Because if you make mistakes, people will get mad at you. I feel like everyone has to make one mistake in their life because they kind of have to feel what pain is. When you make mistakes, you learn from them. I learn not to not listen.
You learn to not listen, or to not listen?
Or to not listen. Because if you got like a million A+, then if you make one mistake, that would not make you angry.
You learn to not listen. What does that even mean? I feel like that's almost learning how to listen.
It means, well,
What's the biggest mistake you've ever made?
Me? Broke the piano. Hitting my sisters. I took my iPad and just kept on buying stuff that cost money, like $2, $3, $4, $5. And then my mom saw on her phone, she screamed out loud, "Chris!"
Did you learn something from that mistake?
Not to do something unless an adult was doing it. To not just spend money. Never hurt anyone, or else you'll get in trouble.
Did you learn that from an adult?
No, I learned it from my heart.
That's so beautiful.
Exactly, that's so beautiful. This is the point. This is the point we would like to make, that children learn from their heart. But if I'd like to take your attention to a child who said that it's not okay to make a mistake, and the reason the child provided was because people get mad at you. So this is also important, because when children make a mistake, the way how they view their learning from their mistake is not because making a mistake by itself is a problem, but because
Aysel, please speak louder.
Okay.
Your volume is decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. Speak louder. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So I was saying that one of the child was saying that making a mistake is not okay, because when you make a mistake, people get mad at you. This is important because this is just exactly what Donaldson say. She says that children display two types of responses when they make a mistake. One of them is a functional, another is dysfunctional. Dysfunctional responses inhibits learning. Children who display dysfunctional responses to mistakes, they display after making a mistake frustration, anger, or shutting down, or feeling shamed and discontinuing working. However, children who display functional responses accept making a mistake as part of learning process, and even sometimes they get fun out of that, which is very, very important, because when children display dysfunctional responses, they stop exploring. They try to walk through the safe roads, safe paths, without exploring alternatives. However, when children are feeling free to take risks, intellectual risk, they explore more and they find other ways of solving a problem, which takes us to the role of teachers. What's the role of teachers in children's making mistake? This is the children, when children are feeling safe from judgments or from punishments or from ridiculing, they take functional responses. They display functional responses to mistakes, which enhances their learning. However, when children are feeling that making a mistakes will get people angry or make people ridicule them, make fun out of them, they try not to make mistakes, which cause them try not to explore. And this depends largely on the teachers, because teachers set the emotional and social climate of the classroom by the dialogue they make with the children, by the tone of voice, by their facial expressions, and by the classroom norms that they set for the classroom. And Donaldson, again, has a very nice statement illustrating the role of teachers in children's view of learning from mistakes. She says that children are attuned to social cues and are apt to mirror the actions and orientations of their teachers. This may also be the case for teachers' attitude about the role of mistakes in learning. If early childhood teachers frame mistake making as normal and expected, it may precipitate adaptive student responses to errors and help promote intellectual risk-taking and growth mindset toward learning. But if teachers frame mistake as something to eschew or quickly eliminate, children may shy away from academic challenges and could miss out on opportunities to practice new skills and expand their understandings. This is very critical. And here I have another very short video clip that illustrates exactly what Donaldson argues. We will see here a teacher who sets the classroom environments, welcomes the making mistake in the learning process, and as a result, we will see how children engage with each other, collaborate with each other, and explore alternative ways of solving a problem together, and also having fun through the process.
What can we do to protect the egg? Plastic bags, balloons, straws, sticks, strings, sticky tape, rubber bands. This is your egg. You have to save it. Pay attention. Where is on? Where is under? Between? Where is in? The constructing phase is starting now.
Stick the straw on the egg. Hai tagliato a stick. I blow a balloon.
The egg is broken. Okay, Leonardo, what have you done to protect the egg?
We tie up the rubber bands and the balloon.
We saved the egg! We saved an egg!
So as you see here, children are aware of the idea that they will make mistake and it's okay. But this doesn't prevent them from trying and again and again and again and collaborating each other and trying to find a new ways, different ways of solving the problem, which was dropping the egg in a design that the egg is not going to be broken. And as you say, they had real fun. So just to summarize, Pearl education model is a child-centered model, and unlike teacher-centered models, Pearl education model places a great emphasis on children's learning through their mistakes in a safe environment, emotional and social safe environments. And we argue that we believe that in a socially safe and safe environment, by trial and error, children self-regulate their own learning. They make trial and error makes learning long-lasting. Trial and error encourages children to take intellectual risk and to be open for explorations, different ways of solving a problem. It also allows children to have fun, especially when they are in small group settings in the learning process. It leads children to interact with each other, leads higher peer interactions, and helps children persevere when they failed on a task, because it's part of learning. So they keep trying again and again. Once they accomplish after failure, trial and error provides them with a sense of accomplishment as well. So these are the main reference sources that I used while preparing the presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Aysel. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Stop sharing. Okay, I will
stop sharing.
Okay.
So I share our part of presentation, which is the second part of this presentation. And I don't know, Elena, if you want to have any part in the presentation, otherwise I will start me personally. Okay, let's open it. Okay, so inclusion of the disability, of the disabled children. And this is the second part of this moment. What we have tried to look at during this piloting and experimenting education and emotion, how it is natural for children to exclude the other, not to include. So we started with the observation of exclusion in order to reach a level of inclusion. And then you will have what facilitate inclusion. And inclusion means also not only taking part in something, but also communicate with someone. The inclusion has different level, and we will see it afterwards. When you have a toy or something that attracts children, especially in the target age of our project, 3, 4 years old, 5, 6 years old, all the children are naturally attracted, and this immediately creates another kind of learning environment. They get closer, they touch each other, they want to see it closer, and they want to touch what? In this case, we provided to them a dog robot. by Clementoni. Doc Robot is a special toy that also talks, has blue eyes, and you see, we can analyze it, why it's so attractive for children. Okay, Doc has color catchy lights, eyes, movements made by arrows, red, white, and blue at the same time. But it's also a cat. A cat is a very familiar pet animal for children, but also a cat with two hubs, two antennas. And so it means that it's cyber robot, it's a cyber cat. And it's fast, he talks with a friendly voice, even sometimes too much, because he reminds you to do something. Turn on I'm fusing up, warm up my fuse, please take me to start, give instruction indeed. Is proactive with children at the same time, and immediately they want to explore it. So a toy like this one has a simple and clear instruction. He's not a female or male. It's not quite evident if it's female or male. It is quite strong, stable. It doesn't fall. It means that it doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't break easily. So quite strong indeed, made of material, quite strong material. It doesn't break easily. And this is important because the breaking, it's very close to what Isel said before. It's connected with the mistake and what we saw in the video. But when the toy breaks, you can't mend it. You can stick it with the glue when it's possible, but when it's not possible, it's like a leak into the children's imagination. So when you're choosing a toy for experimenting inclusion, make it that it can resist to touching it in an improper way also. Because in most of the cases, disabled children, they don't have a measure of what they are doing. They follow the emotion, as the video said. They follow what the soul says, indeed. And the soul says to do it fast and strong, to make emotion even getting closer to the toy or the attractive of this tool that we've been using. So, and the robots communicate with the children, makes them to communicate to each other, to support each other through activities, and also what we did through sharing the task, giving a role to everyone, interchangeable role into the activities, but also a specific role, that nobody or anybody would have been excluded from playing this role and having a very important role for the finalization of the game and the activities. So what is another point important in order to get inclusive atmosphere or environment is to get an immediate feedback, to make them discussing and talking about their feelings about the toy, make them being aware of what's happening and what they are using. So the sound, the color, the shape, the resistance, and the atmosphere, the activity, the teacher's attitude. As you see previously, in front of mistakes, the teachers has to be a little bit distant and make them find out a coping solution for reaching the goal. This is something that we explore very well, and it gave a lot of feedback. So let's get into it. Elena, if you want to say something, just let me know, otherwise I continue. The cognitive aspect improved by the robots. This is mostly concerning psychopedagogical environment and how to enhance the level of the cognitive improvement using a robot into learning environment for measuring and also for assessing the attitude, inclusive and not exclusive attitude by children. So if you want to say anything, Elena.
Well, these are general aspects that are improved by the robot. But sometimes when we work with people with disabilities or special need, it's very important because it involves them in a playful way, and it helps also to develop or make more strong these cognitive capacities. So it's the attention, the memory, the capacity to have abstract concept of turning left, right. So it's important, for example, the orientation in the space. So knowing left, right, forward, backward is important at this age stage, for example, 5-6 years old. And the robot can help us to develop this competence in the children, but together with the others. So since the robot is a shared tool, the development is shared among the other children.
Okay, and why? Why the robot enhance, improve these cognitive aspects? Because it's a facilitator. It's a natural facilitator, because it needs the participation to play, it needs the human pro-action in order to move and act, and also it's something that everyone wants to explore. And in our experience, children have been finding out possibilities and solutions for the robot that we as adults, teachers and pedagogists, we couldn't even imagine it. So they found a usage of robot, and in case, look at the picture, this is quite an expressive picture, because it seems that the robot is autonomous. It has an autonomous glance toward reality. So they transfer immediately on the robot their own identity, and they make the robot play with them. This is very well associated with the mistakes, because when the robot makes some mistakes, it's the robot that makes a mistake, not the person. And the cooperative learning attitude environment makes that the solution, it's a common, and the mistake is a common. So nobody feels guilty, and nobody underline or make it evident or focus on the mistake. They mostly try to find a solution together to go forward. So in particular, why special needs? What does it mean, special needs? And not only because they have some lack of attention, behavioral problems, learning speed, but because of they are keeping with them some personal problems, what we normally call gravity. The gravity is a very good example we've been discussing lately of what it makes heavy to approach to a certain topic. STEM topic, it's a gravity topic for children. It's something heavy because they are afraid of maybe some, let's so-called traditional way of approaching to the topic. But the robot naturally facilitates it. So children that normally are under the attention of the teacher because they need some special attention, they don't need the special attention when they're using some attractive tools because they feel much more involved, because they overcome immediately any kind of psychological, mental, sociological, social, and environmental barrier. They are the fastest because they live through emotion, everything, and the robot attracts immediately enhance immediately a very high level of emotion. And you can measure it with the voice. We experiment in some project, the enhancing level of the voice when they were playing with robots instead of playing without. And this shows and creates another kind of environment where the chaos is not the real chaos, just to reassure some teachers. It's a way of sharing information, sharing emotion, and it creates a common learning environment. So the robot, in order to move, needs precision to press the button, needs to attention to the arrow, as Elena already previously mentioned. And also everyone at the beginning, in order to explore the robot possibilities, is making a lot of mistakes. So mistakes, as said by Isaac before, is the reality. It's a daily attitude. So when the mistake disappear as a problem in a bigger environment, because when we are organizing activities with robots, we have a group made by 4 or 5 members, children in this case. When the robot disappears as a problem, everyone, it's easy to make mistakes. in order to feel part of the group. And the robot naturally to be explored needs that someone makes a mistake. So also robot, in order to move and to fulfill a certain task or activity, needs strategies, needs a plan, needs a cooperative attitude to make a plan and to reach the goal. If the plan is wrong, it needs to be reviewed together in order to reach a goal. And this can be made by distributing the task and also the roles into the reaching the goal of the strategy, and also interchanging. You can try to explore to give a special role that that child would never ask for, because it's the most important. Maybe he's a little bit shy, maybe is a little bit not self-confident. You can really make a challenge for everyone giving a different role and interchanging the role, and also proposing to them to support each other, to take one very skilled together with some not skilled in order to help and facilitate the passing on of information, what we call a cognitive metacognitive learning attitude. Okay, robots need to understand the orientation concept, already explained. Repetition is very important. Make them repeat the activity as many times as they want, but to start from the beginning, to start in order to completely delete and hide away and forget about the previous mistake or the previous results, and consider only the final goal and when they reach, and look at the process and make them being aware of how do they reach a goal through a process, and mentioning or giving more weight to the common attitude, to the common support in order to reach the goal. So, robot and inclusion, we already experimented, and it's a pleasure. And you can see from the picture here that was taken from a real experience of inclusion, the happiness of the other participant from the smile when a disabled child, in this case, a real disabled child, you can see it, it's thinking, imagining before doing, building up a plan with all the other support, all the other together, and all the other helping him. The emotions are so important, and you can guess them from the smiles. You don't see anyone sad, anyone serious, and they are in a learning STEM, highly STEM process. In this case, they were building a scenarios platform made by historical events. So they've been working a lot to build up these scenarios and having a robot moving from an event to the other into this platform. So it's a shared educational toy. We already explored a little bit this, but you can explore by yourself. Okay, it has also common language, which doesn't need words. Which language? Body language, hands, movements, smile, support. Look at them. They are very close to each other. Do you think that this disabled feel excluded from the group? It has the main role in this case, and also everyone is closer to him, something that normally doesn't happen. If you look, they try to stay away, aside from those who are smaller or have some physical or mental difficulties. But look at it, they are not afraid to touch each other, to stay so close and to support. This kind of warm attitude is the best inclusive environment that you can create. Disabled children, when they feel beloved, they copy, they learn from the other, they repeat because they feel protected. So one of the attitudes is very important, is the one that you see with the blue and the blue T-shirt and the girls ready to intervene with the hand, is just a cooperative learning. I mean, the bigger, I mean, the older with more experience or who knows already, supporting when only when necessary, the one who is learning, or it is his, or in this case, he is at the first step of a learning experience. So this fosters naturally the help attitude, and this what we promote very much is the pro-social value, solidarity, empathy, cooperative learning, helping each other, sharing, also mistakes. The mistakes has to be made by the group, not by individual. So the group wins, the group loses. So this was also the biggest and highest level of challenge. It's very important because it gives the level of inclusion and a learning environment. What Vygotsky said, proximal learning environment, children, peer education, peer information. Okay, so as you see, everyone can make a mistake, but only one, more mistakes. And you can also play with mistakes. We experimented in some other previous activities with robots, who's making more mistakes than others, instead of who's making less mistakes. Instead of having the attitude of winner attitude, is having a common helping learning process called mistakes is the value, not mistake is worst. So this is kind that can be made with the special activities, and you as a teacher, you can experiment and you can give your feedback about it. So thank you for your attention. The team of PEARL project, I mean, Gazi University, Castilla y León Regional Administration, and our institution, Polo Europeo della Conoscenza, and Panevalese Training Center ruled by Jurgita, are available by the website for any question of yours. We will have a furthermore meeting very soon on 14th, if I'm correctly say the date, or explaining our piloting platform and how to join our network about PEARL project, Emotional, Empathic, Proximal Learning Educational Environment. So thank you, Aisel. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Mariam, for being here with us. And see you till next time. If you want to say greetings to everyone, we are
Goodbye.
here.
Thank you.
Bye.
I think the recording was great this time, Aisel. We are very happy.